Hi everyone, this is Katie the Novel Stitcher. It is Friday, August 18th, and this is Flosstube 24. This is a channel where I talk all about the wonderful craft of cross stitch, all the things I'm working on, my finishes, my starts, my whips. I share some stitchy hauls, some plans, recommend other Flosstubers, and I also have a little bit of bookish talk, and that always comes at the very end of the video. If you're new here, thank you so much for checking my channel out. I hope you'll like what you see and consider subscribing. And please also comment and tell me how you found my channel, what you're stitching on while you watch this, how your summer is going. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being with me again. Thank you for your kind comments and kind words on my videos when you leave them. It means so much to me. I love reading your comments and responding. I love hearing what you're stitching on while you're watching me. And in between videos, I'm always thinking of you and thinking of what I'll be able to share with you all. It's been a few weeks since my last video. Things have been a little bit busy around here, as most of you know, but if you're new here, I am getting married on December 2nd, and my fiance and I are also house hunting because we're crazy. No, I'm just kidding. We do need a place to live, so we are looking for a place to live. Unfortunately, house hunting right now is really difficult. There's just not much out there. A lot of the stuff that is out there is very expensive, but mostly it's just an inventory issue in the area where we are. But we're lucky that we can even house hunt and even consider getting a house and, you know, have the means to do so. So try not to be too pessimistic about it because we can rent, we'll find a place, we'll figure it out. We're very lucky to have what we have. So, it's just a little disappointing because we are in a position where we could get our dream home if our dream home existed out there on the market. And unfortunately, there's just been little things with a lot of the places we've looked at. One was, I loved the house. It was a gorgeous house, but it was down these really windy back roads, and it would have just not been a safe commute, especially for Alex. And we just, you know, that's not something you can negotiate on. You know, the commute and being safe driving to and from work is really important. And he works some long nights and late hours because he works with taxes. So especially during tax season in the winter, when it gets dark early, he's driving in the dark. And we just didn't want him to have a commute that wasn't going to be fun for him. And then we found another place, but it had literally no backyard. We do want children, and we want to make sure they have a place to play and a play set and all of that. So that house didn't work out because we didn't want to have no land in the back. So the hunt continues. Then we saw one house that was just, the people who lived in it just didn't take care of it. It was dirty and messy, and there would have been some repairs and paint and cleaning, and just too much would have needed to be done with the house. So we'll see. We're running a little bit short on time to get a house with all that goes with buying a house, inspections, closing, all of the different, you know, pieces that need to come together to actually have the house ready to move in. So we'll see next couple of weeks if the perfect house pops up and it works out, it works out. If not, we will rent for about a year and try again when hopefully things calm down and there's more inventory. Interest rates are just really high, and no one wants to sell their house and buy a new house and then get locked into a higher interest rate, which is understandable. So we'll see. But I know a lot of people have been going through a lot of hard times, and so we're very lucky, all things considered. So my thoughts are with anyone who is going through a rough time, with the people of Hawaii and Maui, with the horrible fires and all the destruction. It's just so heartbreaking to see what's happening over there. I know that there's been some tropical storm watches or hurricane watches in California that are, the hurricane's gonna come close to the coast this weekend. So my thoughts are with anyone who's in California who might be impacted by that. Please stay safe. I know some people have been grappling with some health issues, so my thoughts are with you all as well. Seems like it's not the easiest end of summer for some people, and so I'm thinking of you if things are hard right now. So other than that, just been getting wedding stuff together. And my mom's birthday was last weekend, so she and my dad were in town, and we had a really lovely weekend. Alex and I took them to Longwood Gardens. This was their first time there, and they loved it. And we saw the fountain show and had perfect weather. It wasn't too hot because my dad can struggle when it's too hot, so we got really lucky. And then Saturday night we all went out to dinner for Italian with my aunt and uncle and my cousins and my cousin's wife, and it was just a lovely, lovely weekend, and I think my mom had a really good time. So it's been good. I was gonna film on Monday, and then I wasn't feeling well. I had a bit of a sinus headache and some sinus stuff going on, but I'm feeling good today. So let's dive in and talk stitching, because I have 1 fully finished object, 3 starts, 4 whips, 1 thing for haul, well, kind of 2 things for haul, plans, and then a little bit of bookish talk at the end, and some Flosstube recommendations. So lots to share. So I'll start with the FFO, and I do not have it with me because it was a present for my mom, and it came down to the wire because they came in on Friday. Her birthday was Saturday, so I was going to give it to her Saturday, and I finished it Friday before they got here. But it's because I was struggling to find a frame to fit it in because it's really tiny. So I'm going to put a picture here, or maybe a couple pictures. And this is Candy Corn of Mischief by Bent Creek. I don't have the pattern with me either. It's over there somewhere, but you can see how it turned out. I did it on 36 count Magical Gray Edinburgh linen, and I used the called for colors in DMC. It does actually call for the pearl, but I used just regular DMC 1/2. And then the problem that I didn't think about, and you learn as you go, because I'm about a little over 1.5 years into stitching, and I didn't think about the margins and what frame it would fit in. So I think I figured it would fit in a 4x6, and if I had centered the candy corn in the middle of the fabric, that would have worked, but I only gave myself a very small margin, so there was a lot more fabric on the right hand side than the left hand side, because I only gave myself like 2 inches. And so I realized when I was going to frame it, like I couldn't have a big fabric border around it because I didn't have the fabric on the one side to do that. Luckily, it fit pretty much perfectly in this, I think, 2x3.5 frame that I got at Michael's. I went to Michael's and I had a coupon, and so I just bought like 3 or 4 like tiny frames, and I was like, it's going to fit somehow in one of these. And luckily, it did fit perfectly in there. It did turn out very small on the 36 count. So if I restitched it, I probably would have done it on 28 or 32 and done 2/2 to make it a little puffier, but my mom loved it. It's just nice and tiny, and she can stick it on one of their bookshelves or on a counter somewhere, and so she was very happy with it. So that was fun to stitch, and it's always fun to make something for someone and have, you know, that special touch of it being handmade. So that was her birthday present. Well, one of her birthday presents. So that's my fully finished object. My next things are starts. So I have 3 starts. So my first start is Resting Beach Face by Hands On Design. And I mentioned in my last video, I am stitching this for my Aunt Helen. She's had a rough time recently with her health, going through some issues with just mobility and things like that. So I wanted to stitch something for her to make her smile and to just give her a little present. And she has a beach house, and she's actually staying at the beach house for now, maybe even into the fall, because it's 1 level, which is easier for her than her other house. Her and her husband live in New Jersey, but that house has stairs, so they're staying at the beach house. So I wanted to stitch her something for her beach house, and she loves to read, so this made me think of her. And so I'm stitching this on 32 count Dove Lugana, just as Y-guard, I think. And I'm stitching it 2/2. I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC, except Kathy of Hands On Design does have on her website different options for the hair. I mean, obviously you can kind of pick your own color or just see what her options are. And my aunt was blonde. Her hair is going gray now, but I thought she would like this to be stitched as a blonde. So that's my progress so far. And I'm really spending let me move my water glass because I'm gonna knock it over. A lot of time on this one because I do want to get it done in time to give it to her before like it gets cold and summer is like fully over. So I'm making speedy progress on this. This is the stitch that I work on Mondays and Fridays when I'm working from home. So I can do it in the morning when I would be commuting, on my lunch break. I have all evening, even sometimes in between meetings or while listening to meetings. So it allows me to get a lot of stitching done on those days. And I think it's gonna be really cute. And it's a quick stitch, you know, it's really easy to do, especially on the 32 count. So I'm really enjoying this one. So that is Resting Beach Face. Don't want to say that wrong. And then the next start I have, I did like a poll on my Instagram account the other week because I wanted to start something fall, but I wasn't sure what. So it was between this one and a shepherd's bush, and they came really close. So I just chose this one because I really like it. This is Annie B's Folk Art. Autumn is a Second Spring. So I think it's really cute. It's gonna feel a little fall-like this weekend. I think it's gonna go down into the 50s tonight. But this is Autumn is a Second Spring when every leaf is a flower. And it's got that really cute little house. And I just thought it was really pretty. Now with this one, what I didn't realize is that it is only charted that I can find in Gentle Arts. And I do not have a lot. I only have like 2 Gentle Arts, and I'm trying to be good with the spending, especially planning a wedding and house hunting. And so I wasn't gonna go out and buy the fancy floss. So I just did a conversion. I just went through my DMC. I'm using colors very similar to what it's charted with, but I'm just using DMC. So I will show you my progress and how that's looking. So I'm stitching this on 32 count. Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. I'm doing 2/2, and then I'll show my DMC after I show my little bit of progress here. And at some point I'm gonna get a better board to show this off with, but for now, this is what I got. I can probably like make something, but I just need a board, you know, where it has like batting so that, or felt, so that it doesn't slide all around. But anyway, so that's all I have so far. So it's not a bad start, and just have some of the words, which are really easy to stitch, and the very top of the house. And I think this one's gonna be so cute. I really like the colors. I love Fiber on a Whim, Cream and Sugar. I think it's a really beautiful fabric with just very, very soft modeling. And I think the colors are gonna really pop on this and look really nice. And so one thing I can show you, I'm very disorganized. Maybe not disorganized, I'm a little messy with how my floss is kept right now, and I want to create a system. I just didn't want to create a system that I didn't like and create many systems, so I didn't really create a system at all yet. But I might do what Bridgen is doing, and right now I've been bobbinating. And Bridgen uses the Atom Heart Floss Drop / bobbins. So they're bobbins, but they have holes on the sides where you can create it as a floss drop, and then they have bigger things here, so you just wind all of the floss around it and then stick it in. And so she's going to do all of that, and then Pip and Chip on Etsy does stickers, though a lot of companies do stickers. DMC does them themselves too, but with the DMC color on it. I think the Pip and Chip ones, the sticker might be the actual color of the DMC too, but anyway, she's gonna use those. And so I might copy her, but I'm not gonna do that right now because that would take a lot of time, and I'd have to buy all of those floss drops and the stickers and have time to rebobinate and do all the things. But I think it would be, I like the idea of storing them as bobbins. I think just the plastic containers and just storing it that way for me is like more, it's easier and more efficient, and easier to just store them like in a cart or a bin or something when they're in boxes like that. But then to be able to have them kind of be floss drops, especially when I'm doing these videos, to kind of show them better than doing this. And then what I have right now, which is plastic bags of like some on things, some on bobbins, some just as they are. So my winter project will be A, to only work on whips and do no new starts because I'm doing a winter of whips, and B, to better organize all of my floss. So let me know how you organize your floss. I'm not saying that will change my mind, but if you have a suggestion or you have a way that really works for you, please let me know, especially a way that's kind of space efficient. I think another reason why I haven't come up with a different solution or started creating like a really tight solution for all of my floss is I just don't, Alex and I are gonna move and I don't know what the house is going to have for me as far as space for my crafting supplies. I've been promised a stitchy room, but we don't have a house yet for me to have a stitchy room. So, and if we rent, I can't have a stitchy room because we won't have the space. So anyway, that's why these are all a mess. But I wanted to show that, and I think I'm gonna stick with it for the house. I didn't really have a DMC that kind of matched this light bluish grayish color. So what I decided to try, since I'm doing 2/2, this is possible, is to do one of each of these two colors. So 414, which is like a grayish purple, and 926. And so I'll do a blend, one thread of each. And hopefully you can't hear the mower or the leaf blower, because why they're doing that on a Friday afternoon, I don't know, but they are. And so that is what I have so far, which is not going to give you a real idea of how the color is going to turn out. It'll be better when I can actually start stitching the house, but I thought I would try that out and see if I like it. If I get a little ways into the house and I don't, I could try a blend of different colors or just maybe just go with this, but I thought having like a little bit of purple in there would just create some interest, especially since I don't have a variegated floss. I thought that that could make up for it. So that's what I'm gonna do for the house. And then again, these are the other colors. Sorry, it's so messy, but I did grab some Classic Colorworks because I do have I'm in a floss club for Classic Colorworks, so I do have quite a fair amount of those, but otherwise I'm just mostly keeping the colors very similar to what's shown here, just using DMC. And this will be the first project where I'm completely converting it to DMC. So we'll see how that turns out. There might be a conversion online somewhere, but I couldn't find one. So that will be autumn is the second spring. And I think I'll work on that quite a bit this weekend because I think it's gonna feel a little fall-like. And I am ready for autumn, even though things are going to be a bit insane because I'm married. I'm getting married and I'm moving, and bridal showers in September, and I am gonna visit Billy, my brother-in-law, and Megan, my sister-in-law, and my new baby niece, Baby Z. So I'm gonna see Baby Z in late September. September is gonna be a lot. We don't have plans for Labor Day yet, which I don't wanna make plans for Labor Day, but then it's my birthday. September 11th is my birthday, so then it's my birthday. Then my aunt and I are going to New York City to visit Baby Z. Then it's my bridal shower, which my mom is planning. She's wonderful and I love her. And then October and November is probably all moving and wedding. So fall is gonna be, it's gonna go by really fast though. It'll be fun, it'll be fun. And so the last start I have is from a new designer, a Flosstuber. It's from the Camping Stitcher. That's Chris. I'm sure some of you do watch her. I think I've shouted her out before, but Chris is newly retired and decided to start designing patterns, or at least releasing some of the patterns that she has designed over the years. And her first one is Stitcher's Prayer. Now it's nicer looking than this. My printer's cruddy. So, but it's a Stitcher's Prayer, and I thought it was just so sweet and so cute. I love this little prayer she wrote, or poem. Now I sit down in my chair, my needle, floss, and fabric there. I stitch and calm my busy mind whenever I can find the time. I really like that. So she's on Etsy, so she's on Flosstube as the Camping Stitcher, Instagram as the Camping Stitcher, and then she also has her Etsy shop. I will link all of that below so you can go and check this pattern out if you would like to buy it. It's just all PDF, but it's nice. You can print it out in color, the pattern in color, and it's just really cute. And so I'm really excited for her. She also released another one this week about like purchasing things and stitching and stash. And then she is working on a fall one that she said she's gonna release pretty soon. So it's really excited when new designers enter into releasing their patterns. I know it's probably a little bit nerve-wracking. How are people gonna respond? Are people gonna like it? But I think everyone's really liking what Chris is designing, and it's just so fun. So I am doing this on a 40 count natural raw linen, and I'm using Chris's called for DMC. I know people are switching up the colors, but I decided to go for the called for, and so that's the progress so far. I think it's gonna be so cute on 40 count. I just wanted it to be really teeny and just really delicate, and so I think it's gonna be beautiful. I really love just like natural raw linen. I just think it's like a good color that would work for pretty much any pattern. So I'm loving stitching on this. I think it's going to be so pretty when it's done, and it's the first pattern that I've worked on that is related to cross stitch, so it's going to be really cute. And I will hope while I'm working on this, I will send good thoughts out into the world, that Alex and I will find a place to live and I will have a stitchy spot in that place. So that is a Stitcher's Prayer. Here's some of the DMC, again with my really great way of storing it. I should put these on bobbins, but sometimes I just leave them on the thing and then I just pull it out the bottom. It's fine. So that's the Stitcher's Prayer. So those are my starts. And if you're new here, I am doing a summer of starts, sort of. I just feel like starting things, and so I'm letting myself start things. So I'm just starting what I want when I want this summer, but then I don't want to have so many whips after the summer is over that I feel too overwhelmed. So in January, February, March, I'm going to have a winter of whips, and I'm going to try really hard to not start anything, or only start like 1 or 2 things at the most, because who knows what people will release for the start of the new year and what sales might happen. So I'll give myself a little room to start a couple things, but mostly those 3 months will be all dedicated to my whips. And I have an idea of how I'm gonna go about working on my whips and what system I'm gonna use, and I will share that later in the fall. But let's go into whips. So Oh Joyous Day. This is also a whip go for August. I have to work on it for 8 hours, so I think I put in about 3.5 hours on this one. Blackbird, absolutely love this, so pretty. First Blackbird I've stitched on, and this is also, I sometimes forget to say this is a stitch along, or at least a start along, with Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot and Bridget the Museum Stitcher, and I know they're both making really nice progress on this one. I don't know if we're all exactly in the same spot, but I think we're all kind of like on pace to be, no one is like zooming ahead of anyone else. And there was no hard set rules for this one. It was just to stitch Oh Joyous Day and stitch it when you can. And so this is on 36 count Steinbeck by Needle and Flax. And I'm working on the alphabet down there. So I don't think I had started the alphabet, or maybe I only had a couple letters when you last saw this. So here is my progress. It's looking so pretty. Please don't mind the dangling thread, but I like stitching the letters. They just stitch up real quick. They're really easy to do. It's fun to bounce around between all the different colors of floss. This is stitched 1/2. And I'm using the called for, which is called for and DMC. So the called for is a selection of weeks, and I think, is there anything else? It's mostly weeks, and then maybe a couple Classic Colorworks, or maybe not, and then 1 Gentle Art, and then I'm doing DMC too. So just because it's a lot of colors, and the fancy floss can get a little pricey. So it's easy enough in certain spots where the variegation isn't needed as much to just do the DMC. So it's a good example of how you can kind of mix different threads and it still looks great. And you can't really tell that some are DMC and some are fancy. So I'm really liking this one, and I'll need to put another 5 or so hours into it. And so hopefully I'll get this whole alphabet done, and then I'll get more of this part done And down there, got kind of like letters all scattered about, and then the bird. So I'll probably, hopefully be able to get all this done, and then I'll come over here and start working on him. Maybe, I think so. And then it'll be fun to get to that house. I like that house. And just keep plugging away at this one. And also September is Sampler September, so I'll probably focus on that in September too. And here's once again my lovely, messy floss. So yeah, this will get more organized soon, I promise. Don't scream, it's fine. I know what I'm doing. I mean, it's organized chaos, but I know how to organize my chaos. I don't know. So that's a joyous day. And then another one, this one I am hoping, along with Beach Face, Resting Beach Face, to finish this month. And this one I just want to finish because I'm loving stitching on it and I want to get it finished, and I don't know if I'll display it. Well, I can guess I can display it in September. Oh, but I need to put it up here because it's a PDF. And so this is Home Sweet Home by Teresa Kogut. A lot of people have been asking me about this, especially on Instagram. To get this pattern, you have to be a member of her Patreon. If you're not familiar with Patreon, it's a subscription service that different artists, not just cross-stitch artists, but all kinds of artists do. You pay a monthly fee, and then you get kind of special perks. And it's just to be a patron of this artist and to support them. And so Teresa Kogut has different tiers. There's different price points from 8 to 20, I think. I am tier 4, which is the highest tier. And for that, you get 3 free patterns, two or 3 free patterns a month. On the first of the month, she releases them. You get access to her secret stitch shop that has all of her previous Patreon patterns for sale for pretty affordable prices. I think she does paper patterns, but mostly I would do digital when I do that. You get access to an ornament for $5. Every month she releases a new ornament, and then she does live videos where you can join in on YouTube and chat. Well, you leave comments, but she'll do a YouTube live. I don't know if she's done any like Zoom-like meetings. She did release a video about her needlework marketplace, like her upcoming pattern releases. She released that video to her Patreon members early, so we all got the first look before everyone else at her new patterns and all of that. So for me, it's really worth it. I love her patterns. I don't know if I'll do it forever, but for now, especially as we're getting into fall and Christmas, I love her fall and Christmas designs. She did release some Halloween ones for August. I didn't love them. They have cats, and I am a cat person. I have a cat, but they were like kind of creepy, funny, goofy cats, and that's not my style. They're cute, and I can see why other people would really love them. Just for me, it just wasn't my style. But this is Home Sweet Home. I don't know when this was released because this was before I became a Patreon member, but I got this through her special secret shop as a Patreon member. It was like $8 for the PDF, so really affordable. I'm stitching this on the 32 count Dove, so the same color as Resting Beach Face. I'm using mostly her called for DMC. I lightened up the bee skip to more golds. She had it more browns, and I made the bees a bit lighter yellow. But otherwise, it's the same colors for the flowers and all of that. And I just have the word home at the bottom, the rest of the border, and a couple little bees. So I'm getting really, really close to finishing, so I definitely want to get this done. I love the way it looks on the blue. I think the colors really pop. I think it looks really nice. Thinking of frame for this finish, maybe a white frame, or a frame that would be like a dark brown to match the bees and the pots. So we'll see what I decide. But I really love this one. I love her patterns. I think with Teresa Kogut, there's some patterns that look, and I have another one of hers that I'll show, that's a whip. I think some, like this one, looks so nice 2/2 with the thicker coverage and really letting those colors pop. And then there's some that look nice as like more primitive with 1/2 on a higher count. This is 32. I have another one on 36. I'll show that in a minute. But I'm loving Teresa Kogut, and I really want to do a Christmas one. So that might be, I don't know if it'll be my next start, But I'll have a Teresa Kogut Christmas stitch going before the end of the year, for sure. So I think I answered everything about this one. DMC, Dove, 32 count, Lugana. I don't know if I said it's a linen, it's a Lugana. And yeah. I like that one. And then my next whip is my stitch along. So a lot of you have been joining in on my Enchanted Quaker Luminous Fiber Art stitch along. So thank you so much if you're joining in. Feel free to join in if you haven't already and you're feeling in that Halloween mood and this is one you've been wanting to stitch. It's just Enchanted Quaker Sal. There's really no rules around it besides stitch this one. I'm not gonna get it done this year, so don't feel that you have to get it done before Halloween because I don't think I will, but it's so fun. I'm really loving stitching on this. I love the Quaker motifs. She did a really beautiful job designing this. It's just really cute. So I am doing this on 40 count Slate by Fiber on a Whim. I don't need the board for this one. And I am doing, so the call for is Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks. I'm doing it in DMC 310, and then I'm using some Classic Colorworks for pops of color. So this is what I have so far. I think last time the bird wasn't done, and I hadn't worked on this motif yet, and then I'm starting on this one on the side. So that's my progress, 1/2. I think it's looking really cute. I really want to make more progress on this, spend more time on it, but I want to spend more time on everything. So, and time is a little bit limited, so we'll see. But yeah, that's coming along really well. And I don't stitch quite as fast on a 40 count as I would on the 32 count. So just takes me a little bit longer, but I think it's really cute. She just does such a nice job with how she designs these. Almost like, I would say like a cartoonish feel. Not that it's like a goofy cartoon, but just the way she designs things is really neat. And I know some people were asking about the colors that I'm using, so I can go over it again. So I used Bing Cherry by Classic Colorworks for this top motif, and that's the only motif that I'm gonna do Bing Cherry in, so I can actually put this back in my Classic Colorworks stash. I really like this color. It's like a purpley burgundy red. And then for Pea Pod, which is just a light green, that one I'm gonna do cauldron, the word cauldron, and then the bubbles coming out of the cauldron will be that green. This actually says cauldron bubble, so I'll do the whole thing. So I'll have red up here, the green down here. Then I'm gonna do the moon. And I don't have any Classic Colorworks right now that are like a yellow that I like. So if I get a Classic Colorworks, because I do have a floss fix from Fat Quarter Shop where I get 6 skeins of Classic Colorworks every month. If in September, probably a nice yellow comes along, I will do a Classic Colorworks, but if not, I'm gonna use Weeks Whiskey. So that will be the moon. And then I have to remember what I was gonna do. The word Halloween coming down here near the house. I'm gonna do in this very lovely blooming crocus. Nice variegated purple. And then the owl, the little owl is going to be in this reddish brownish barn door. So that will be him. And then just 2 more. I'm gonna do probably this motif right up here in Bejeweled. Nice turquoise. I love this color. This is beautiful. So I just wanted to use this. I was like, I'll do that motif in this because I just want to be able to use this color. And then the pumpkin, these up here. Maybe the 31, probably just the pumpkin, is going to be an autumn spice. Very nice autumn orange. And so that way I'll have color nicely dispersed. I wanted it to be even. I didn't want to have too much color on this side or too much on the top. So I think that's going to turn out really nice. And so that is Enchanted Quaker. Do you like Halloween? Are you a Halloween stitcher? Or do you just do fall and then go into winter or Christmas? I like Halloween a lot. Let's see. Oh, and then one more Halloween, because I like Halloween. So this is the other Teresa Kogut. This is my last whip. This is Whimsy Witch's Angry House. And this was just a normal release from her that anyone could buy. If you're interested, I like her. She's super cute. I'm doing this on 36 count cappuccino by Fiber on a Whim. I do a lot on Fiber on a Whim. I really like their fabric. And it's easy to get, which I would love a coloring cotton. I would love some of the other kind of fabrics. They're just hard to come by sometimes. So that's my progress. And so this is an example of one where I am doing this. I can probably just fold this and not use the board. Make it easier. There we go. I'm doing this 1/2. So it's a bit more prim, a bit more delicate. And so I think it works really well for this pattern. So we've got some of her hair done, her whole hat, and then I'm working on her face. And so I really like this fabric. I like the modeling, bit of beige, bit of green. I think she's gonna look really cute on her. And I don't have I'm using all DMC except, and I don't have all the DMC with me, but it's just oranges, blacks, and browns. I pretty much have already used all of the DMC that's gonna be in the pattern. But her dress is Weeks gray, or this gray that her hair is. It's kind of a greenish gray. And I thought for Halloween, a little girl dressing as a witch, I had a purple dress as a witch when I was a kid, and I think most would have a purple or a green or orange. I don't know that they would necessarily have the bottom of their dress be gray. So I decided I wanted it to be gray, or not be gray, but I didn't want to go too crazy bright purple because I didn't want to take away from a little bit more of the colors that she uses. So anyway, I'm doing Argyle Socks by Classic Colorworks. So it's kind of a purplish gray variegated. So we'll get some of that purple in there, but we won't make it so bright that it doesn't really work for the pattern. So I'm excited for that. I think that's gonna work out really nice. So that's Whimsy Witch. I also don't know that I'm gonna get her done before Halloween, but she's fun to stitch on. The hair was kind of a lot of counting, but it looks really cute. So those are my whips. That's my stitching. So I'm gonna go next to Flosstubers. So I mentioned Chris, the camping stitcher, already. Please check her out. Check out her patterns if you're interested. Please check out Bridgen, the museum stitcher, who I'm doing the Oh Joyous Day Sal with. I love Bridgen. Her videos are so great. As well as Sarah's Stitchy Spot. Sarah's so nice. Please check Sarah out. Her stitching is just, And she had a whip parade recently. I have my notebook out. I want to stitch so many of the things that she's stitching. Gorgeous. And so I have two other recommendations. I have Lost in Stitches. That's Lisa. Lisa lives in Canada, and she's so sweet. She's so nice. She has really, really pretty projects. And her most recent video she did with her mom. And her mom's a quilter and a stitcher, and it was really, really cute to watch. They have such a great relationship, and that was just enjoyable. So if you need a little joy in your life, Lisa's the one to watch. She is Lost in Stitches. Please go check her out and subscribe to her. And then the other one that I watched recently, so they were just on my mind. I think I've shouted them out before, but it's Linen and Scraps. It's Molly and Kathy, and they are two friends, and I just love their back and forth. I love seeing their friendship. Molly's a fairly new stitcher, so she's got that new stitcher excitement. And then Kathy's been stitching for quite a while. She's a monogamous stitcher, but her stitching is just gorgeous. And she stitches these most beautiful, beautiful patterns. She does model stitches. And they always have like really fun haul. Kathy's really creative. She always finds things in like thrift stores or antique stores that she can kind of turn into stitchy goods or use for finishing and stuff like that. So they are just so much fun to watch. Such beautiful projects. You'll need a notebook out because you'll want to stitch everything that they're stitching. So those were my recommendations. So check all of those wonderful Flosstubers out and support them. And then we'll do haul. I'll talk a little bit about plans, and then just bookish talk will be real short. I just have one book that I'm going to talk about, and that will come at the very end, and I'll let you know before we get there. One thing I wanted to show that I haven't shown recently, but I really liked these colors, and in case you're interested in doing this too, is my floss fix from Fat Quarter Shop. So it's pretty affordable. It's like I don't mind being honest, it's like $17 a month with shipping. You get 6 colors, and then they just come every month, normally mid-month. I think I got this over the weekend, so I got to show my parents, and they were like, that's cool that you get that. And they were like, what colors? Like before I opened the package, they were like, oh, what colors did you pick? And I was like, you don't, it's a surprise, which is fun. And they're going in alphabetical order. So we are on C right now. And it's just a nice way to get fancy floss and build up a collection of it without spending money or buying things here and buying things there, or, you know, wanting colors but not knowing, oh, what color should I buy? They just do the work for you. So these are all the beautiful colors. So we have cappuccino, which is like a pinkish brown. We have caramel, which is like a light beigey brown. Candied yams, which is a beautiful pink. I really like that. I don't know if candied yams actually look like this, but it's a pretty color. Hopefully the lighting's okay for this. It's like partly cloudy out. So this is candy corn. So a really cool orange and yellow variegated. I don't know what I'll use this for, but this would be fun for something Halloween. Camouflage, which is greenish gray, grayish green, greenish gray. And then a nice red orange, which is very true to the name, campfire. It looks very much like a campfire. I don't know if these are turning up super well, but, and these are colors I think you can probably get, or you can get. They're not special or anything. They're just going in alphabetical order of all the colors. So that's super fun to get those in the mail, to not know what colors you're gonna get. And then for things like Whimsy Witch or Autumn is a Second Spring, you know, I can just go into my stash and say, like, what color of Classic Colorworks do I have that would maybe work with this pattern that I could either switch out or, you know, just totally do a pattern all from Classic Colorworks, because now I have a really lovely selection. And I know Fat Quarter Shop does that with others. I think I might do Weeks Dye Works at some point soon, because a lot of patterns call for weeks. I know a lot of people do color and cotton. I'd love to do that, but one thing at a time. So that's that. And then I have one other piece of haul, and I've been really good about not buying anything. It's been like a month and a half since I bought any stitchy stuff besides for monthly subscriptions. And so I saw Liz Matthews and Lauren, the New Hampshire stitcher, talking about stitching trays they got, I think, from Not Forgotten Farm. And I did not get one for Not Forgotten Farm, so I don't want you to think about one of those. But I was realizing that I put my stitchy stuff on the coffee table in front of me when I stitch, and I stitch on my couch. And it's just kind of all a mess. My scissors are there, my needles are there, the floss and the bobbins, and it's just all spread out on the coffee table. Sometimes Scout wanders over and I'm like, where are the scissors? Because I don't want her to get hurt by stepping on them. And then sometimes she's pretty good about not knocking things off, but sometimes she'll be like, bobbin, pleep. And so I was like, a stitching tray or something I can put all my stitching stuff in would be great. Not Forgotten Farm was sold out of theirs. They have like legs, they're really nice, but I was like, all right, they don't have any in stock. What can I get? And I was like, well, there's gotta be stuff on Etsy, right? Everything's on Etsy. So I found this, and I love it. And I just Googled on Etsy, like, stitching tray. And this company doesn't have many sales. They're pretty new, but the reviews of the ones they did have were great. They are Palmetto South Designs. I'll put the name here, and I will link them in the description. And this is called the Needlework Stitching Tray. And the reason I liked this is because I'm a bobbinator, so your bobbins fit in here. And they're all scattered, but they sent me this too, actually. They do bobbins, and you could write your DMC, and they have a hole for your extra, a hole for your thread, and there. And so this fits, but the plastic bobbins fit in here too. And so you just put them in here. So I liked that I could line up all my DMC in here, making them easy to see the numbers and easy to just grab from the bobbins. If you do floss drops, this probably won't work for you, except if you do the Adam Hart floss drops, because they're probably thick enough. You just need it to be thick enough to kind of sit in here. And then you put your scissors here. You put your little thread here, thread bed, really nice. And then this fits your pins or your needles. And then I just sit this on the couch next to me, and I have all my little things all in my little tray, easy to access and organized. So I really like this. I think it's really well made. It only comes in this color, but that's fine. And then you can actually pick what fabric you want for this. They don't give you fabric options. It's just a box that you write in. So I just said blue is my favorite color, so pick something blue. So they picked this lovely blue with the tulip on it. I really like that. So check them out. I added it to my cart so I could think about it. And then they sent me a 10 or 15% off coupon, $20 with shipping altogether. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal for something that I now literally use every day while I'm stitching. Just put it on the table or on the couch, and it's got all my stuff. And it's lightweight, and it's tiny. It's not super big, which I like. I don't need a huge stitching tray, and I especially like this if you're a bobbinator. And they have a few other things on their Etsy. It's an Etsy shop. So I'll link them down below, check them out. I couldn't find them anywhere else, so they don't know that I'm recommending this. So just if a lot of you decide you want this and somehow it's sold out or there's some delays, just I guess keep that in mind, but it should be fine. But yeah, it's really cute. So check them out if you're looking for a little stitchy board. And then, or if you want some wooden floss drops. So that's it for my haul. I'm trying to be good. We're buying a house. So trying not to spend too much, but my birthday is, I'm sorry, that just fell off the chair. It's fine, see? It's so well made, it's fine. Anyway, my birthday's coming up, so I'm hoping to get some gift cards or some things for my birthday, and then that will allow me to buy some more stitchy things, which goes into my plans. Though I have everything I need for this. So my birthday start, not a stitch along, but if you want to start it too, feel free. I'm not doing any more stitch alongs besides Enchanted Quaker Sal this year, because things are just too busy. But I love this, and I'm gonna stitch it on my birthday. It's Fractor Flowers by Kathy Barrick. It's one of her new designs from the spring. And I just love the colors. I really love, like, this is one of my favorite colors, this kind of teal kind of color with the pink and the orange. I just think it's beautiful. Fractor is like, does she talk about it here? I guess it's like a design or a kind of flower design that's Pennsylvania Dutch. And so I live in Pennsylvania. So I thought that would be perfect. So someone asked me, this is charted in MPS and DMC. I'm gonna just do DMC because there's quite a handful of colors and I'm just trying not to spend too much. So I'm gonna do it in the DMC, and I have fabric. It is parchment 40 count from Fox and Rabbit. And it's just a very neutral cream kind of color. So that is my birthday start. So that will be in September. And then before even that, Lauren, the New Hampshire Stitcher, is doing a BAP to School sale. So BAP as in big beep project. And so BAP to School is so cute. I love that she came up with that. And it's just to work on a really big project, or what you would determine is a big project, because I think everyone probably has a different definition of what would be big for them. Is it full coverage, or is it just, you know, a bigger stitch? And that will start Labor Day weekend, September 2nd, I think. And so I am doing poinsettias and pines from Blue Ribbon Designs. I got this at Sea Needles. I just think this is really pretty, kind of prim, but very nice sampler. And it says, the smell of pine, the crackling fire, all the snow one could desire. Hot cocoa with marshmallows, cookies in the kitchen, treasure the gifts that winter has given. I just think that's really sweet. I like poems and quotes and things like that. So I studied journalism in college, so I'm all about words and how you put words together. So I think this is really cute. And so I'm gonna stitch this possibly for this one in the Belle Soie by Crescent Colors. I actually don't know how expensive those are because I looked up the price of Belle Soie from Classic Colorworks. So, but there are only 7 colors. And the white I could probably do in DMC, maybe not. Anyway, there's only 7 colors and I will get money for my birthday. So for this, I might be willing to splurge a little on the Belle Soie by Crescent Colors, if they still exist. This is from 2007, so I have no idea. I've not actually heard of Crescent Colors Belle Soie, so, but I could buy silks from a different dyer. That's the word. So we'll see. But anyway, and I don't remember what I was gonna stitch this on. Oh, 40 count. Maybe it's also called parchment. I don't know. I have fabric though. I have the pattern, and it does have the DMC. And I don't know, we could just go with the DMC because I think it'll look fine no matter what, or I could see if I have Classic Colorworks that work. I will think about what I want to do, but that'll be fun. And this is 235 by 145. So I think big enough for a back to school sale start. So, and then the only other plan, and I haven't shown this in a while, and it's almost September, which again, I like my birthday, so it's my birthday in September. So I have From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy, September sampler, or Quaker, I mean. And I started this last year, but I have not touched it at all this year. So I'm going to get back to this in September. So one of my plans is to stitch on this in September. I'm doing this on Vintage Country Mocha. Now, I did not write down what this is. I'm gonna guess this is a 25 or 28 count Vintage Country Mocha, so I'm doing it 2/2, and I'm using my own conversion. And so you probably haven't seen this for a while, so I thought I would show off something that I haven't stitched on in close to a year. I got this for my birthday last year. Alex bought me some patterns for my birthday, and this is one of them. And so I want to get back to this. I think it should stitch up pretty quickly. I have a good amount of it done. I didn't stitch the word September yet, but I have room. I don't know what I did. I started this so long ago. Whoops. Well, there you go. But it has September at the top, and I don't know why I didn't stitch that yet. But there's no fabric, so don't know what I did, but there's plenty of fabric up here to stitch that. This is probably more than enough to stitch it. I don't even think I cut this piece. So anyway, I'm gonna work on that for my birthday. Don't know if I'll get it done this September, but maybe I'll try to get it done this year. If you want to know what colors I'm using, just ask. But it's just DMC, and I just did it in blue because blue's my favorite color and blue sapphire is my birthstone. So it'll be fun to get back to this one. There's not too many projects I haven't touched at all this year, but that's one of them. So that'll be fun to get back to. Okay, that's it for the stitching. So let me know what you're stitching on. Are you still kind of just doing summer? Are you just doing non-seasonal? Or are you, like me, ready for some fall stitching, ready for autumn and Halloween and then Christmas? So Christmas probably needs to come out soon if I have anything that I can finish by Christmas. I do have my Prairie Schooler Santa And then I have Christmas rules. I think those are the two I can probably get done. So let me know what you're stitching on. Let me know if there's any patterns you're looking forward to. There's a lot of new releases coming out in the next couple weeks, especially with Needlework Marketplace. Like a lot of new releases, like literally everyone is releasing something new, I feel like, in the next few weeks. So if there's a pattern you have your eye on, let me know, because I'm starting to take notes on what I'm adding to my wish list. So thank you for watching. If you're just here for the stitching, I've so enjoyed spending time with you. Sorry if I'm tripping over my words. It is a Friday at the end of a work week, so sometimes the words just don't come. But thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and comment, and have a wonderful week and happy stitching. If you're here for books, I just have one book that I'm going to talk about because I finished it. So this is a book review of Lady Tan's Circle of Women by Lisa C. I just finished this the other week, and I really enjoyed it. Now I will say, if you have never read any Lisa C., I might not start with this one. She writes all historical fiction, mostly set in Asian countries, all periods throughout history. And I think her writing is beautiful. I love her characters. I love her stories. It's just, you know, a lot of times historical fiction is either about World War I, World War II, or American history, the American Revolution, or the Civil War. And so I really love reading history from a different perspective and having historical fiction from this perspective. And Lisa C does so much research, and so much goes into the books that she writes, and they're just wonderful. If you haven't read her, I might start with Snowflower and the Secret Fan. I'm not going to exactly remember what that's about. It's written in China, I want to say in the 1900s, about two girls, or a girl. Most of her characters are females. Most of her lead characters are women. But that was the first book I ever read by her, and it was very popular when it came out, probably 12 years ago or so. But this one, Lady Tan, Circle of Women, is about a young woman named Youngzian, and her grandparents are in the medical profession. This is the 15th century. It goes back. It's long ago. And this one is all one timeline. It doesn't switch from past to present. It's many years of this woman's life, but it's all stays within her life. And it's very well written. Her grandparents are doctors. She herself wants to practice medicine. She is a woman of higher status, so that's not as common. And she needs to get married, as all women would have to do throughout history back in those kind of times. And her married family doesn't really want her practicing medicine, but she still does it on the sly. And she's friends with a woman named Mei Ling. Mei Ling is of a lower class or lower status, and Mei Ling is a midwife. There's certain things that women of her class, women of Youngzian's class, can't do. They can't touch women. They can't touch fluids, blood or other things. And so that's what the midwife is for. She kind of does more of the touching and the work when a woman is giving birth and things like that, catching the baby and that kind of thing. And so it's about their friendship and about their lives. It's about the practice of medicine in, I think I'm right when I say 15th century China, but apologies if I'm wrong. Obviously medicine was much different back then, and medicine in Asian countries and kind of how they view the body and yin and yang and all of that is a lot different too. And so there's a lot of history. I learned a lot reading this book. I will say the medical stuff might not be for everyone. It is detailed. It is a little bit disturbing at times, especially in this time period when we didn't have modern medicine. The treatments they gave were different, and the diseases that they got were different because of the time period. So it's a little graphic in that explanation. So if that's something that makes you queasy, this is probably not the book for you. Not all of her books are like that, though some do deal with foot binding and that kind of thing, which can also be a little bit disturbing. But it's history, and it's what really happened, and it's how medicine was handled, and it's the diseases There's smallpox in this novel, and it's horrible what happens with that disease and how many lives it took before there was a vaccine. And so there's cases of that. There's one scene that was like really gross toward the end. I probably should have skimmed it because it was kind of not necessary, and it made me not want to eat dinner that night. So just don't eat while you're reading this book. That said, it's wonderfully written. If you like Lisa C., you will like this book, unless you really are unnerved about medical stuff, and then maybe just skip this one. But she wrote this during the pandemic, and I can tell it's one of those books that she wrote because she really wanted to. She wasn't writing for us. She wasn't writing to entice a certain audience or make people feel a certain way. She was writing this book because she learned about this woman. Youngzian is a real historical figure. We just don't know very much about her, but she really made an impact on Chinese medicine. She wrote a book about her patients and her experience. Well, not her experience, because we don't know much about her personally, but her cases and her patients. And it was a book that was translated, and I think it's still maybe not used as much, but it's still out there today. And that's how she found out about her, how Lisa C. found out about Youngzian. And so I think she really wanted to tell this woman's story. And I think this is one of the cases of a woman having such an impact, but no one really knowing, because women's stories aren't always told. And I think Lisa C. wanted the story to be told and wanted this woman to be recognized for the work that she did and the medical advances or treatments that she came up with. And so you can tell so much research went into this, and she even writes about it in the afterword, like researching during a pandemic about a doctor, and also trying to research during the pandemic where she couldn't travel to some of these sites and to some of the museums and historic places that would have given her a real sense of the place in which Youngzian and Mei Ling lived. But she had visited some of the places before for other research, she realized. And yeah, so I enjoyed it. I would say 4 stars. Most Lisa C's get 5 from me, but this maybe is more a 4-star read. But I think this is just a story that she wanted to write. And I'm glad that she did, because I learned a lot. And right now I'm still reading that Finley Donovan book, Woman Who Becomes a Hit Woman by Accident. Really cute, really enjoyable. Not too far into it, but it's cute. And then I'm still listening to Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow about 2 friends who create video games. I gotta up my audiobook listening game because I have not listened to that in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. I don't want to lose the plot by not listening to it for a while. And I'm enjoying it, but I also want to move on to some other listens. So I do have to spend more time. I think I have 6 hours left with that one. So it's a good bit of time. I am enjoying it though, and I think I will continue to enjoy it. I just have to kind of like not listen to music on my drives and stuff like that. Audiobooks are hard for me because I tend to just want to think while I'm driving, and then I don't listen to the book. I should listen to it while stitching, but instead I've been watching Suits on Netflix, which is quite enjoyable, and I can't stop, and it's many, many seasons. So that's what I've been doing instead of listening to audiobooks. But another reason I want to finish Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow is because Ann Patchett just came out with a new book. I'm now going to forget the name of. Tom Lake, something like that. Just look it up if you like Patchett. But I really like her books. I would read anything that she writes because I think she's a fantastic writer. I don't even know the plot, but I just got the audiobook because it's the audiobook is done by Meryl Streep. And I just thought that was cool. Ann Patchett's just, I think Tom Hanks narrated one of her books too. The Dutch House, which I just read. Didn't listen to the narration, but I think it's fun. And so I really want to listen to Meryl Streep narrate a book. And I like Ann Patchett, so I know I'm going to like it. And it's the hit book right now. It's what most people are reading or talking about, just came out. So if I can finish Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow within the next week, then I get to start Tom Lake, I think it's called. So that's what I have going on book-wise. Let me know what you're reading or listening to, any recommendations. I always love your recommendations. So thank you so much for watching, and happy stitching and happy reading, everyone. Have a great week.